Okay, maybe you're suffering from depression right now. Maybe you're feeling really low and you're just not sure how to get out of it. Or you're feeling like this is never going to end. Okay, well, you've come to the right place. So, hi, my name's Catherine, and I'm not a psychologist, but I am someone who has also been through depression. So, I just want to share with you the things that have helped me during those times. Okay, so when we're feeling depressed, it can be all consuming, and you will have feelings of hopelessness, feelings of despair, feelings like you're a burden. You may be very ashamed of your depression. You might even not even want to recognize that that is what you are going through. Okay? So how do we get through these dark periods of our lives? Well, depression hits us for different reasons. For some of us, we may be coping with the loss of a loved one. For some of us, we may be struggling through having gone through an intensely stressful period in our lives, and we're just suffering from extreme burnout. Other people, depression might come from bipolar or clinical depression or other things. There are many reasons. Also, childhood traumas can trigger depression. If you were a child who was in a very volatile environment, maybe you had parents who were always raging at each other, and your default mechanism was to sort of shrink yourself when you were at home, then maybe because that feeling of unsafety as a child, you go through an event as an adult where you don't feel safe, then that triggers that same response in you, that sort of freeze mode, and you're trying to protect yourself from what you feel is danger. Yeah, there are many reasons why we can get and feel depressed. First of all, it is important to remember the phrase that this too will pass. It's very difficult, isn't it, when we're feeling hopeless, we're feeling like a burden, we're feeling like we're no good, and it can feel like you can't see a way out of that situation. But actually, things will change, and you won't always feel like this. So, talking about how we feel when we are depressed. So when we're depressed, we're often ruminating. Yeah, we're thinking about things. We're thinking about maybe our current situation, and we are thinking, oh, my current situation is terrible. I feel hopeless. I feel like I can't see a way out, or I feel such grief and such loss over losing my partner or my parents. Yeah, we think about what is going on in our lives. We ruminate and we have these thoughts. Now, the important thing to remember is that actually when you're lying there and you're thinking that you're hopeless, you are not hopeless. What you are doing is you are thinking that you are. Yes, it's merely a thought. And you have to remember that you are not your thoughts. Yes, you're not hopeless. You're a miracle. The very fact that you are here, I mean, against all odds, just think about it. Think about how our ancestors had to survive wars and famines and diseases, yeah, just to bring you here. And think about just the absolute craziness that you were the one that got to the egg and you got to the winning post. You're here. The fact that you are here is a miracle, okay? So even if everything else in your life is going wrong, wow, you're here, right? Okay? And actually, things will get better. So when you're lying there having the thoughts, what can you do? Well, yes, you can learn to recognize that you are not your thoughts. You learn to become an observer of those thoughts. Yes? So for example, you may be lying there feeling, I've lost my job. I feel like a failure. Yeah? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take that thought, yeah? I am having a thought that I am a failure. I am having a thought that I am a failure. Right? We're going to move that thought over. Okay? And we're going to look at it. That thought you're having is that you're a failure. You are not a failure. That is your thought. Yes? And once we can learn to observe our thoughts and recognize them as just that, they're just thoughts. You're not a failure. You're thinking you're a failure. I am having a thought that I am hopeless. Yeah, it's a thought. You're not hopeless. Remember, you're a miracle, okay? I am having a thought that I am never going to manage to get back on my feet again. Of course you are. It's just a thought. So you need to try and visualize, observe those thoughts and separate them from who you are. Yes? You, who you are. You are not your thoughts. You are a miracle. Yeah? And when you can start emptying yourself, yes, you're learning. The thought comes in, okay? The thought comes in and you recognize it. Yeah, I'm having a thought now. Okay, it's just a thought. It's not the truth. Yeah, I'm just going to let it sit in the corner of my mind. I observe it, I recognize it. I'm not going to resist it because it will try and come back stronger. But I just let that thought sit there. And as the thoughts come in, you're going to keep doing that. You're just going to pick them up and place them over there. You don't resist them. That's very important, because if everything we resist comes back. a lot stronger. So we don't resist it, we just sit it there. And this is a technique that takes a while. Yes, it takes some practice. But once you start doing it, once you start becoming an observer of your thoughts, it almost becomes like a natural thing. Over time, you get to the point where you just are constantly able to observe those thoughts that are coming in. You are able for once to empty your mind. Freedom, yeah? Because I don't know about you, but I spent all my life with thoughts just going do, 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 new thought, overlapping thought, this thought, that thought, that thought, that thought. My brain was just buzzing like a bee's nest, full of thoughts, and often not very helpful thoughts. And once you can remove those thoughts, observe them and just place them to one side, whew, the bee's nest just goes away and you're left with peace. And then when you have got to a place of peace, yes, when you've got to a place of peace, then you can start thinking about what you can do to help yourself, okay? So that's one thing, right? Very important. I would say for me, out of everything, that has been the one thing that has really worked, okay? Sorry, anyone who doesn't like drinking, I hate hearing people eat and drink. My daughter watches crazy, what they call mukbangers. She'll watch on YouTube, people are eating crazy amounts of food into a microphone, so the sound is elevated. Oh, I don't know. And these people are really successful on YouTube. I don't get it myself, but hey, so sorry about the drinking. Right, okay. So that has been the most helpful thing for me, right? Number one. Number two, okay? Feeling. Often, when we have feelings that we don't actually want, yeah, because no one wants to feel depressed, no one wants to feel anxious, no one wants to feel scared, no one wants these feelings. Our natural reaction is to resist them, yeah? But then what happens when we resist them? Now I've got an itchy nose. When we resist them, we're just adding another problem in, okay? Yeah, so now we're feeling depressed, but we're resisting the depression. So let's take that problem away, okay? We don't resist. And how do we do that? How do we not resist? So with depression, yeah, because depression is a very physical thing, isn't it? Really physical. I remember being in the park in the cold weather and walking and feeling relieved that my fingers were icy, like incredibly cold, because I felt something, because I'd been feeling so numb that I'd like lost feeling. And actually I felt happy to be having frozen fingers because I felt something. Yeah, so depression can be really physical, can't it? So what you need to do is we also need to process that feeling that we've got, okay? And not resist it. So you lie down, yeah? You try and just put your thoughts to corner of your mind. Okay, you just let your thoughts sit over there. And that wave, and it can almost feel, it'll be different for everyone, but it can feel like a dark shadow, can't it? Like a sort of whoa, going through your body. Okay, but this time you're going to do something different. You're going to say, okay, come in. Yeah, you're going to let, and your natural reaction will be go, oh, yeah, because it's scary, right? That will be your natural reaction. But you've just got to, yeah, just let, when you react to push it away, don't push it away. This is really important, yeah? And you just go, okay, I'm allowing, I'm letting you come in, yeah? And that's sort of, whatever feeling it is for you, but say for me, like dark shadow feeling, that feeling that goes through your body, just recognize that as a feel. Okay, this is just the feeling. This is the feeling of my depression. Yeah? And I'm letting it in. Yeah? And you can literally feel it in your arms, in your legs, in your body. Whew. And it might even like woof you back a little bit because it's so strong. Yeah? Wave, or it'll come in waves. Oh. Yeah, but that's good, because actually you're allowing that feeling in, and like water, yeah? So we're letting something flow, yeah? We're not resisting it. So like water, as it flows down the stream, yeah, it will flow and it will pass through you. Yes? Now, I'm not saying you do it once and, oh, I'm cured of depression, but it's what you do. You just let that feeling in. And what I found, that by doing this, by resisting the depression, by not resisting it, by allowing that feeling to come in, it came in and it went out again. Same with our thoughts, yeah? Okay, we allow the thought of hopelessness in. Okay, I'm having this thought, but we recognize that thought. We recognize it as a thought. It's not a truth. It's not who we are. It's a thought. And we will just put it there. Two things really, really helped me. Okay, they really did. Okay. Now, something that I did do, I did CBT after I cared for my mum. I was a carer for my mum. She had Alzheimer's and she lived with me for 3 years. And afterwards, I actually was suffering from complete burnout, like absolute exhaustion. And it wasn't just from caring for my mum, it was from the things from years back as well, and everything just like, and I was, yeah. Now, I went to CBT and I learnt in CBT that there are 9 pillars, yeah, that we need to have in our lives that make us feel like, okay, yeah, they make us feel okay, right? So I don't want to talk for hours, but I'll just quickly run through these 9 pillars because I found it quite useful because I wasn't aware of it. So friends, now if you're feeling depressed, you may not want to be in contact with your friends, okay? And I understand that. When I am feeling a little bit low, or I'm feeling not great about myself, I'm like a bear with a sore paw. I go in my cave and I lick my wounds and I don't come back out until I feel better, yeah? but you do need some form of human contact, okay? Even if that is just, right? So I have a dog, so fortunately I had to go out every day. Yeah, walking is great. It's a rhythm, it's rhythmical. Rhythms and patterns can really help with depression. So pretend you have a dog if you don't have one. Yeah, make yourself go out into nature. Yeah, and I went to coffee shop every single day, same coffee shop. I just had a tiny bit of human interaction with the very nice people in the coffee shop. And that was enough. Yeah. Just enough, just so that I didn't feel like completely invisible. Yeah. So get yourself out, ideally in nature, because nature's very healing. Yeah. And if 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 you really can't see friends, you know, maybe you have one friend you could let in, but if you can't, then at least just sort of have some human contact somehow. Okay. Relationships, yeah, so that's sort of a similar thing. Relationships that we have with our loved ones or our children. Yeah, we just need to sort of keep those areas of our life balanced. Yeah, work. How do you feel about work? What's going on? If you don't have a job, how can you get to sort of finding a path for yourself? Personal growth, very important. If you're here, you're doing it anyway. But personal growth, yeah, self-reflection. What can I do to improve my life? What can I do to improve things? Okay, alone time. Well, if you're depressed, you're probably having quite a bit of alone time, but alone time is important. We can be depressed when we're busy, can't we? We can be depressed when we don't have alone time. Yeah, where we're just constantly catering for everyone else's needs. But actually, alone time is important. Family. Do keep in contact with family, because family do love you. Yeah? Obviously not the one, don't keep in contact with the ones who drive you crazy if you're feeling depressed, but like reaching out to family is important. Exercise goes back to me saying go out for a walk. Yeah, even if it's around the block, that rhythm is really good. I have a little coffee pot that I put on the stove, so you have to like a bit of a coffee addict, yeah, and there's a whole sort of thing to it where you make the coffee, and it's a whole process. And actually something like that is really good, where you have a purpose. You get up and you're like, right, I'm making my coffee, and you repeat that pattern every day, and it's like a repeating pattern. Try and incorporate that into your everyday life, a repeating pattern. Very helpful. Okay, so exercise, going to the park, hobbies, leisure. I made myself crochet. Yeah, I didn't want to, didn't feel the desire, the want, the need. I literally put the crochet hook and the wool in my hand, and I made myself do it. Do it. Amazing. Made me feel so much better. Yeah. And contribution. What could you do for someone else? Yeah, even if that's just opening a door for someone, or smiling, or popping to see your neighbour. Yeah, these things make us feel good when we're helping one another. Yes. What else was I going to say? There was something else that I was going to say. Something to do with, so yeah, going for a walk, repeating patterns. Oh, my brain. It's the thoughts, they come in and they go out. But yeah, I will leave it for there. I will leave it there for now. But oh yes, that's what I was going to say. With the sort of making yourself do, because you do have to make yourself. Yeah, you have to push yourself to do these things. So every morning, so I have non-negotiables. Yeah, that means I don't waver on those things. Yeah, every morning. Well, my shower's broken, so I can't have a shower. I have a shower, yeah, and I put on makeup. Not tons, but a bit. I might not even be seeing anyone, yeah, apart from my daughter, but I put on makeup and I put on perfume, okay, because that just makes me feel like just more like I'm making me feel good, yeah. So having a wash every morning, make it your non-negotiable, yeah. That's my non-negotiable, as is my coffee. Okay, and just creating those patterns for yourself, yeah, each day. And also, don't get overwhelmed with thoughts, yeah. We're learning to manage our thoughts, yes, we're learning to observe our thoughts, yeah, and we realize that things aren't going to change overnight. We just take each day as it comes, one step at a time, okay. So I hope this video may have helped someone, because it's not fun when you're feeling depressed. And do try those techniques, because I really did find that they helped me hugely. If you want to comment, if this is something you're going through, please do drop a comment, because I will always reply. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful day. Please do subscribe and come and join our lovely little family. Yeah, because I would love to have you on board. And please hit the like button if you found this video helpful. Have an amazing day. Remember, we're finding our peace, yes, finding our peace and sending out the love. Okay, lots of love to you. Bye.